Hey everyone, it's Emily. I am back with another day in the life video. I got a generous remarks and comments and responses about the last video that I did. You guys said that you would like to see more of these videos, so here you go. So I am working today on my day off. Like I told you guys in a previous video, my daughter is gone for the summer. She's gone for 2 months. So while she's gone, I will be working as much as I can to try to get extra money for things that I need for me and her. So, and I have my shirt on backwards, y'all, because I did not want to show you guys the school district that I work for, the logo. So I did put my shirt on inside out so you guys could not see. But yeah, so, and excuse my appearance, y'all, I'm at work and I am currently painting. And as you can see, I'm in an empty room. It's the summertime. We have emptied out all of the furniture and they have stripped and waxed the floors in here. So now today I'm gonna go in and I'm just going to paint. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but I just wanted to tell you guys that I appreciate you guys for leaving all those nice and kind comments, and I'm glad that you guys like this type of video. So I will be coming to do some extra footages and videos in a day of a life of a custodian. So for my newbies, hey, my name is Emily. I'm a 38-year-old custodian in the upstate of South Carolina for my local school district. And on this channel, I do day in the life videos, vlogs. My main thing that I concentrate on is low income budgeting and cash envelope and sinking fund stuff. So that's what I mainly do. But before you guys, my budgeting community, I did do vlogs. So I'm trying to switch it up and come back and start bringing those real life vlogs to my channel. So like I said, excuse my appearance. I'm at work and I'm painting. So I got paint all over me. You know, this ain't no fashion video. So what you see is what you get today. So yeah, so let me go ahead and get started. I'm gonna talk to you guys as I paint, okay? So like I said, my clothes, I have on some leggings that I wore last year that have paint on them already. So excuse the paint and stuff that you see on me. And I have me a chair here because I usually will sit down and paint and stuff, like the bottom portions of the wall. So yeah, so what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna paint this entire wall over here. And I'm just using a white paint. I'm not a professional painter, you guys. Let me get a little bit closer. I'm not a professional painter, but working for the school district, I learned how to paint. I paint stuff my way, but I do a good job. My boss man always tells me I do a good job, but y'all, I am not a professional painter. And I take shortcuts, you guys. I don't take my baseboards off with painter's tape because we usually are strapped for time and I don't really have a lot of time for that. So I do keep a wet rag close by. If I do drip some paint on the floor or on the baseboards, I wipe it off. It comes off immediately, and I do not have problems with getting paint on the floor a lot. Every once in a while, I might get a drip drop, and I'll go ahead and wipe it up immediately. So that's just a little trick that I do, y'all. And I know a lot of people use the blue painter's tape around like their outlets and their wall plates and light switch plates and stuff. I don't do that because, like I said, we'd be strapped for time. So I try to paint as much as I can, as fast as I can. And a little bit of background, in the school building and the district that I'm in, they come in and paint the classrooms and the entire building every 10 years. So in the summertime, the custodians go in and we typically do touch-up painting. I find that if I do the entire section of a wall, it blends better than me just doing a couple of strokes here and there. So you'll see me paint a good portion of the wall only because it helps blend the paint better and you won't be able to see the new paint from the old paint, okay? So the paint will look a little streaky, and because there is brick. I mean, it's not brick, but it's cement blocks. The walls are, but once it dries perfectly, and it matches, and you can't even tell where I just did touch-up paint. Now you notice the wall looks really white and clean. Okay, so let me go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put on some gloves. I always use some gloves to keep my hands covered and not to get paint on my hands. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cover my hands with some latex gloves. These are some disposable latex gloves I wear extra large. I don't have to move any furniture out because there's no furniture in this room. They just strip the floor, took the old wax off the floor, and then they reapplied the wax. So the wax is dry, so on Monday they will come in and put the furniture back. So I'm just putting on my gloves like so. So how y'all doing today on this Friday? It is June the 10th. Okay, so I got my hands covered. Right here I have my paint tray. I'm gonna scoot it a little bit closer so you guys can see what I'm working with. So this is just one of my old school TV cards that we use. I put a plastic bag down on the tray so I don't get paint on it. And then I have my trays of paint here. This one, and I'm just gonna show you guys. I got my trays of paint. I have actually 3 trays of paint here. And then I'm gonna show you this one. I have my paintbrush and my roller, and then I have a large roller that I use. This one here, I'm gonna roll some of the paint off of it. This is the one that I use just to get close to the baseboards, along with this paintbrush here. But I typically use a bigger roller to roll majority of the wall. So here's my cart, y'all. Then, like I said, I keep a wet rag close by so that if I have any paint drippage, I can go ahead and wipe it up. But typically you want to tape your baseboards off with painter's tape, take your wall switch plates, your electrical outlets, and your your light plates with painter's tape so that you don't get paint on them. But like I said, we be strapped for time, so I always use this little handy thing here if I get a little bit of paint, because I don't take the stuff off. I don't really have time to, and I have to move fast. So I usually just keep a wet rag. If I do get a little bit on the wall plates or the electrical outlets, I use this right here, y'all. This comes in. It's just a quick little trick that my boss man taught me. So, and it works. So I'm just gonna go ahead and talk to you guys while I paint. And I'm gonna sit down, y'all, because I usually do the bottom portion. I'm gonna swing this around, and I'm gonna start, let's see, I'm gonna swing this around this side so y'all can see me. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm gonna take this here. This is a scraper, and I'm gonna scrape off any hot glue that the teachers use to put up posters and pictures and things. So that's what you'll see me doing. I'm just gonna take this and I'm just gonna scrape this stuff off. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk to y'all while I do this. So yeah, we'll see what we're gonna talk about today, y'all. I'm gonna address some of the comments that I haven't got back in the video. So I had someone ask me if other people be in the buildings on Saturday or days that I come in, like off days that I come in. Typically, no. I'll be here in the building by myself. But this building is in my neighborhood. I actually live 1 street over from this school. And I'm very familiar with the neighborhood. So it's daytime. It's about 1:30. I'm not scared or anything, and I've been working in this building for years. This is actually a middle school, and now I work probably 5 minutes away at an elementary school, but I come come over here to help them out because they're short-handed and I want to get extra hours. So I kept a good rapport with my old boss man, and he allows me to come in and help him since he's short-handed. And y'all, this glue is so hard to get off the wall. So I might actually have to get another scraper because this scraper is a little bit flimsy and I'm having a little bit more harder time getting the glue off the wall. So that's why, excuse me, you see me applying a little bit more pressure. But I'm gonna do the best I can with what I have, and I don't want to leave to go get another scraper. So yeah, I do work in the building by myself sometimes, y'all. And it doesn't bother me because, like I said, I'm very familiar with this building, and it is in my neighborhood, so I don't get scared real easily, you guys. The building is old, it creaks, it makes noises, and that's just that on that. I'm not a real scared type of person. I'm not saying I don't ever get scared, but I'm familiar with the building, and it doesn't really bother me to work in the building by myself. So let me see what someone else asked me. Well, I just had a lot of general questions, and I'm gonna start painting with my big roller, you guys. I'm only going to paint from this section on down. I'm not gonna paint but so high because I don't really need to. This part and down is what usually gets dirty from the kids' desks being over here and they like to write on the walls and stuff. So I only have to paint so high up and so far down. I usually paint from this point down, okay? So that's what I'm about to do. I'm get my roller here, so I'm gonna turn my back on y'all. And I'm just rolling my roller down here in my tray, and I'm getting it coated, making sure I get off that excess paint so that it does not drip. Like I said, I don't usually have a whole lot of drippage because I make sure I roll the excess paint off really well before I start painting. And yes, I do sit down when I paint the bottom portion of a wall because I have to do we usually have to do an entire building. And it's usually me and one other person doing it, so I try to save my back as much as possible. So yeah, so I use a rolling chair and I kind of roll along as I paint. And my technique of painting is, like I said, I'm not a professional, so if you feel like I'm painting wrong or I'm rolling a roller wrong, then that's just that on that. But I get the job done, y'all. I get the job done, and it always looks good at the end of the day. I'm just letting y'all know I'm not no professional painter. I kind of just paint stuff like I want to, and it looks good at the end. And I don't roll my paint. I roll my roller down as close to the baseboard as I can get it, and then I always go back in and use my trim. Either my small roller brush or I use my trim brush and I get close to the baseboard as I can. And that's how I get the wall done, guys. So yeah. So I'm just here today. I'm just coming in today to help them out. And my other coworker, she was here earlier, but she left already. So it's just me here. And yeah. That's what we doing. So like in the summertime, y'all, we just do stuff that we don't get to do during the school year. We go in and we take the furniture out each room. We strip the floor, or if it has a lot of wax on it, we're going to strip it. If not, we're going to use the square scrubber and we're going to take the layers of wax off. Then we come back in and re-wax the floor. Once the 4 or 5 coats of wax is applied, and we have to let them dry. Each coat has to dry in between. Then once the final coat of wax is put on, then we go in, and once that's dry, we go in and put the furniture back. Most of the teachers will leave a diagram, like how they want their furniture to be put back. And if they've been here for years, we kind of know how they want their furniture if they don't leave a diagram. If that makes sense. So I'm gonna just go in this direction, and I'll get to the end of that that wall. So y'all don't see me doing the very bottom because you'll see me go in a minute and I will do that very bottom part of that near close to the baseboard with a smaller roller or a trim brush. So my roller is getting dry. I'm gonna go ahead and get some more paint on here. And then I'm gonna make sure I roll out all the excess paint so that I don't have any floor drippage. No, any drippage on the floor, guys. And I kind of like just, paint, overlap it, angle it, that kind of thing. I ain't no professional painter, but I know a couple of techniques on how to get this up there on the wall and make sure everything is covered and evenly spread out. Yeah, so this is just what we do in the summer. So like once the floors is done, we usually, and the furniture is put back, we usually come in and we do touch-up painting. So like I said, every 10 years a professional painter will come and paint the entire school, but in between that time, we have to do all the touch-up painting ourselves. So, but yeah, so I'm going down to the bottom as close as I can, and I will go back in and they have like little grooves in between the center blocks, and I'll go back in with a brush in a minute and make sure I get those parts of the wall. So I'm just gonna scoot on this down this way, and I'm gonna finish this part of the wall, and then I'll go back and finish the bottom. That's how I paint fairly fast, y'all. Because we just have 2 people painting, and we have to do the entire school. And the school that I work in now is a middle school, and it is 2 floors. It has a first and second floor. And I'm sorry I got my back turned, y'all. I'm just trying to get this paint on the roller. And I have to move fast just to make sure I don't have any kind of drippage. So I paint fairly fast, y'all, because like I said, we have a lot of square footage that we have to cover. And I'm not gonna do the top portion of the wall. We're only gonna do a certain part. Because that's like where the kids sit, and they sit at their desk and they write on the wall. Tell me why they write on the wall, I don't know, y'all, but they kids and that's what they do. Okay? They're kids and that's what they do. But yeah. So, I'm trying to see what else I want to talk to you guys about. I hope you guys are having a good summer. And some of y'all might not be considering it summer. I consider it summer because the kids are gone at the school. So the last day of school to me is when summer officially starts. But I think summer don't officially start until like June the 21st or something like that. I think that's like the first day of summer. Y'all let me know what it is down in the comments. But yeah, so when I get off today, and I'm not working a whole day today, because we usually in the summertime we work 4 10-hour shifts to get 40 hours, and we usually have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. But because I'm working on my day off, I came in at 7, and I'm gonna get off at 3. So that's what I'm working today. I don't have to work a whole 10 hours today, because this right here, this time is actually my comp time, which is comparable to overtime. But we, in the district, we get an account, and our extra hours over 40 go into that account. And when we're ready, they'll put those extra hours on our pay. So today I'm just working comp time hours. Okay, so I pretty much, excuse me, my paintbrush, my roller almost fell out of the pan. But yeah, so I pretty much got the top portion of the wall done. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my trim brush, and I'm going to go in between the bricks and make sure those lines are covered. And I'm going to trim off the top portion to make that blend in with the part that I'm not painting. I take my little trim brush and make sure the paint is really smooth and even with the part that I didn't paint. I know I'm jumping all over the place, y'all, because I'm not like the best vlogger or whatever. I'm just kind of freestyling it over here. I didn't really have like anything specific to talk about, but we can talk about a couple of things. Let's see. I'm trying to give y'all some good information. Let's talk about how I manage my money as a low-income earner. We can talk about that. Okay, or how I manage as a single parent on a low income. Let's talk about that. So, before I started working for the school district, I was a stay-at-home parent. I was married, and I was a stay-at-home mom, and I left my husband at some point in time, and me and Ashton, we lived in an apartment there for a year, and then I moved back to my hometown, and I got a job working in the kitchen because I did not have anyone to watch my daughter. I have very little family, and I did not have anybody to watch my daughter, so I needed to find a job that would allow me to still work, still be a mom, and still be able to pick her up and take care of her outside of her school and my work hours. So I said, okay, well, I'll go work for the school district. So I came in working in the kitchen as a food service worker, which is a cafeteria worker. I would, serve kids, prepare the food, and serve kids their food. And the cafeteria workers in our district and in our school, they work 30 hours a week, and that's considered full time, was 30 hours a week. So I would work my 30 hours a week, and Ashton at the time was in, I think she was in first or second grade. And once she got out of school, she would go to the after school program. So what I would do is I would work my hours, I would go home, because I came in at 7:30, and I would go home at, I would go home at 2. I would get home at 2:30 or so, and I would go home and take me a nap, and then I would get back up, and I had to have her picked up before 6 o'clock. So I pick her up, and we'd go home, we'll do homework and eat, take baths, and go to bed. So yeah, so that's how I first started off with working for the school district. So when the summertime came, I knew that the cafeteria workers did not really work in the summer like that unless you worked the summer school or the food service or the food program in the summertime. So I know that I wasn't going to get a whole lot of hours, and I knew that my background was in janitorial. So I had the opportunity of working with the custodians during the summertime. So I went to the plant engineer at the school, and I asked him if he had anything available in the summer, and he told me yes. And so that particular summer, I started working with the custodians. And y'all, my background has been in janitorial work for 13 years now. But at that time, I had several years in, and so I don't require much training. So during summertime, I learned my way around the school. I learned how to get the furniture and put the furniture in the hallway and move stuff. And I just developed a very good rapport with him and the other custodians the summer that I worked. So one of his custodians was leaving, and so he had a position come open, and the position was from 9 to 5:30. So he asked me if I wanted to take it, and I told him yeah, because those would still be good hours, and Ashton would still be at school. She would still go to after school. I didn't have to be to work too early because I could still put her on the bus at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and still do that, and then I can still have time to come to work, and then I would still have time at 5:30. I would still have 30 minutes to get from the school that I work in to her after school. So it was just the perfect hours, you guys. And I'm just gonna swing over here to make sure y'all still recording. So we're at about 25 minutes. I'm not gonna hold you guys too long because I'm not really sure how much storage I have on the phone. But yeah, I just wanted to talk to you guys and just let you guys know and let y'all guys see a little bit of what I do in a day of a life. So yeah, so I'm just painting. I'm trying to get down here at the bottom of these baseboards down here. I try to get as close as I can. And yeah, so I'm pretty good at trimming the bottom now without getting paint. Like I said, on the baseboards, because I know you guys are like, oh my God, how do you paint without putting the painter's tape down? I'm just that good. But then, you know, every once in a while I do get paint on the baseboard, but we have rubber baseboards and paint come off fairly easy with this wet rag. So if I do get something down there, I just go ahead and go ahead and wipe it off. So you can see that the paint is already drying because it's starting to look kind of spotty. It looks like it's not even, but it is. Trust me, guys, it's just drying. This paint dries very fast. And I know I started talking about the type of paint. This is Sherwin-Williams paint. It is a pre-catalyzed water-based epoxy and extra white. And that's what type of paint it is. This paint dries very fast, but it's easy to paint with, and it's very good paint. It's a water-based epoxy paint. Yeah, y'all, it's very good. So we get like a big old, if you guys can see, we get this big old gallon. Actually, let me see how many, what it is. It's 4 gallons of paint in this bucket right here. And what I'm talking about, we go through about 4 or 5 of these during the summertime, during the whole building. So yeah, so let me go ahead and get my brush. And I'll make sure I wipe the excess off really well so that I don't have any paint drippage. That's why I don't really have to lay stuff down, y'all, because I'm very fast and very careful when I paint. And like I said, you know, if I do have a little bit of drippage, I'm just filling it in between these cracks, making sure I got that good with a roller, you guys. Because I rolled it with the roller first, and I just kind of go back in and go over the creases of the cinder blocks. And I'm standing up now because I'm at the top of the wall. And I just kind of get in there grooves really good. That's what I call it, get in the groove. And then I trim this off up here really well with the brush. So once it's dry, you won't even be able to tell. Because like I said, the top part of the wall is not what's getting dirty, it's the bottom part where the kids have their desks and they like to lean on the wall or stand up against the wall, or they like to write on the wall. Hell, they put boogers on the wall, y'all. Yeah, in middle school, they still play with boogers and put boogers on stuff. Because I see it a lot when I'm painting. I see green stuff, and I assume that it's boogers, but that's what it looked like. Sometimes I scrape it off, sometimes I just roll the paintbrush over it. I'm not about to be scraping no boogers off, y'all, like that. So, here you go. You see me with my small roller. And I'm going to get close as I can with this, to this cabinet. That's how I get, because I didn't get real close with the other roller, but see, I'm getting as close as I can with this roller to this cabinet right here without having to do all that taping and stuff. And then I'll go back in with that small brush and get closer than that. And that's just that, y'all. Yeah, I'm just gonna roll a couple of places that I see. Yeah, y'all, this paint dries really fast. It might look a little spotty because it's already drying. And I'm just going over it a little bit more here in certain spots. Yeah. I said I'm not the most professional, but I do a pretty good job wiping the paintbrush, you can use the sponge part of the roller, and it'll really help you get off that excess paint. And so yeah, so I'm just gonna get even closer to that cabinet without having to tape it off. I'm getting right up against it, y'all, without having to tape it off. But yeah. So I do stand up and paint, y'all. I want y'all to think I'm a lazy. But majority of the wall I do sit down, cause I'm gonna save my feet and my. But I'm talking about I'm doing a 2-story. I don't know what the square footage of this building is, but I'm gonna sit down and save some of my back and feet and neck and legs and everything else when I can. Now, what I'm gonna do when I get down to this outlet, I'm gonna sit down again, because this is kind of what helped me get close without getting paint on stuff. I'm gonna get my little trusty chair again, and I will get right around the electrical outlet with the brush. I can't tell y'all what size brush I'm using because I don't know, but I try to get the smallest brush that I can get so I can get close as possible without getting paint on anything. That works for me. Like, I did this outlet over here and I did not get no paint on it. So I take it out. I'm going fast, but I'm still kind of taking my time, if that makes sense. Yeah. I'm just dragging this, making sure I got everything covered down here at the bottom, close to the baseboard as I can. And yeah. Now, y'all will see me just make sure I'm covering the bottom part really well, getting close to my base boards as I can. So yeah. But yeah, so that's, now, how did I pick my school? And let me come get up a little bit closer to y'all. How did I pick the school that I work at? Well, when I first started and I first got hired for the cafeteria, I said, well, I'm not gonna be making that much money, and I need to try to save money on gas as well as not put, car. I drive used cars, so I don't want to put a lot of miles on them traveling back and forth down the road or across town to different jobs. So when I had started working for the district, they asked me what school I wanted to work at, because we have several schools within the neighborhood that I live in. So there's an elementary school in my neighborhood, there's a middle school in my neighborhood. Then 5 minutes down the road, there's another elementary school and a high school, and then 5 minutes in the other direction is another elementary school. So I was like, well, I'm gonna take the middle school, because the middle school is actually 1 street over. It takes me 2 minutes to get to the school. And then, so that's what I did. I said, I'm gonna choose the closest school to me so I don't have to spend a lot of money in gas, because I need to save as much money as I can to use it for the things that I need. So that's how I chose the job, and that's how I chose the school that I work for. Another thing is, my daughter was going to one elementary school, and she was riding the bus, so I didn't have to drive her to school, and she was riding the bus to the after school, and I would just have to go pick her up from the after school. But now, a couple of years later, which is now, she goes to another elementary school in our district. She rides the bus there, and she rides the bus home to her after school. Well, I switched her after school from one place to another place. The after school that she go to now is actually 500 feet from my apartment complex. So yeah, it's 500 feet from my apartment complex. Okay, so when I come out of my apartment complex, 500 feet, about 400 feet is right there is her after school. And then from there, 1 street over is my job. So I'm not spending any money really on gas Monday through Friday. My expenses with gas come on the weekend when I have to travel a little bit, or if I'm doing, I do house cleaning on the side if I'm doing a house or something, and I might have to travel to another city or whatever, or I might have to travel to another side of town. I might go grocery shopping on another side of town or whatever. But anyway, that's how I chose where I work at, and that's how I manage to make it off of such a low income. You guys, I strategically, planned where I was gonna work at, where I was gonna live at, where I was gonna work at, and I got it all within a certain mile radius. So I don't really use a lot of money for gas Monday through Friday, and I don't really have to travel too far to the grocery store or anything. So from my house, I have a Dollar General and a Family Dollar in the same shopping center, and that is 1 minute from where I live. And then 5 minutes from where I live, I have an Aldi's grocery store. So I have 3 major places where I can shop and stuff. Now, if I want to go to Walmart is about 20 minutes across town to most of the Walmarts. We have several Walmarts in the city that I live in. So I would typically go to Walmart on the weekends. My laundry facility, I choose to go to one across town. So when I do go to that laundry facility, that's when I typically go do my grocery shopping. So I plan out, I don't make all these trips throughout the week. I only go to the grocery store on Saturday or Sunday. And while I'm going to the grocery store, I'm going to the laundromat too, which is probably a minute or two from the grocery store. So I always plan out my trips to save as much as possible as I can on gas. Let's see, what else do I want to talk to you guys about that helps me keep my budget in control as a low income earner. So, like I said, I don't have a car payment. I talked about that before. I don't have a car payment, and I bought my car with cash. Yes, I purchased my car with cash. And how about I come back and actually do a part 2 to this, because I don't want my video to get cut off. So I'll be right back, guys, and I will do a part 2.